Beyond the Scoreboard 2014 with hosts Mark Smothers and Robin Netherton. Brought to you by Country Financial, a Lee Powell agency for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind. Get ready for more Cullman area football. Beyond the Scoreboard.
Well, welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard, Week 5. Brought to us and you by Lee Powell and Country Financial, Wallace State Junior College, and I'd say Domino's Pizza.
Domino's Pizza fed our crew tonight. It was, as usual, outstanding food. That's the second time I've ate Domino's Pizza this week, and it never gets old.
No, it doesn't, because it doesn't last long enough.
It doesn't last, that's right. And it never gets such thing as a cold pizza because we eat it too fast.
Well, let's start Week 5 out with our Team of the Week last week. Team of the Week last week. Good Hope.
Good Hope, Team of the Week. 45 seasons of football. Their winning percentage is 53.1%. Their longest rivalry has been with Vinemont, and Good Hope's got the better half of that rivalry. They've won 29, and Vinemont's won 15. And the head coach for Good Hope is Chris Moss, and he's been the head coach for Good Hope for, what would you say, about a decade?
Pretty close.
Pretty close to a decade.
He's been down there, yep. But anyway, I think Good Hope got another big win tonight, didn't he?
Yes, that's right. Yep, big win tonight.
So starting to
2 wins in a row. They won last week, one tonight. It's big.
All right, they're starting to get things together, and here we have some footage of last week's game where they picked up their first win over J.B. Pennington. So big win, congratulations, and congratulations for another big win tonight. And so Good Hope's beginning to get their feet under them. Curry?
Beat Curry tonight, 19-14, and I know Coach Moss is happy to get that win. Now this was a non-region game, but next week they're back in region play, and hopefully we'll continue rolling and get some more wins.
Yeah. Well, we have Beyond the Scoreboard. Good to see you here with us tonight at 10:30.
Yeah, great to be here.
We'll be back on again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Sunday afternoon at is it 2 o'clock? Mm-hmm. Then Wednesday nights at 7, and Friday afternoon 4:30.
Right.
So if you can, check us out, and we'll be right back with some scores here in just a little bit. They're starting to come in, so listen to our word from our sponsors, and we'll see you in a minute.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell agency for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
A restaurant with a view. A game day bus. A kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Country Financial, the Lee Powell agency for all your insurance needs. Call 256-734-3348.
Delicious stud, hon.
Eat up. There's plenty more.
Billy, eat your stud. Think of the termites whose homes were protected with Termidor.
Aw, Dad. The Browns will never get Termidor. They're clueless.
Yeah, they even think homeowners insurance covers our damage.
Do you hear laughing?
It's probably just the pipes.
Target Pest Control. We aim to please.
One of these could be the most dangerous tools you can own. Because if you're careless, even for a minute, this can come into contact with those. Then it's lights out. At our Touchstone Energy Cooperative, nothing is more important than the safety of our members. We can't do it all. The best way to be safe around outdoor power lines, just don't touch them. Ever. The first rule of every do-it-yourselfer should be do it safely.
Cullman Electric Cooperative.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace State of Mind. Almost $39,000. That's the mean annual wage for Alabamians trained as machinists and in computer-controlled machine operation. Wallace State has machining programs to fit your career ambitions. Be one of us and get in a Wallace State of Mind.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace State of Mind.
Well, welcome back. We've got a little bit of footage of some big ball games last night. Tonight, one of the big games, I think, was the Vinemont at Cold Springs game.
Yes, two good teams.
Two good teams getting after it. We've got a little bit of footage of that, and I think we have Coach Elliott on the phone with us. So, Coach Elliott, congratulations.
Thank you very much. It was a real big win for our kids and our community. It was against the county team, which we hadn't played in a while, and I am tickled to death tonight. A lot of times after ball games, I'm kind of worried about what we did wrong, and I hadn't worried a lick about what we did wrong tonight. I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, we were out there, and there were a lot of, to open up the game, both teams moved the ball fairly well the first time they had it, but after that, it got down to sort of a defensive struggle.
Yeah, it seems like we just keep making the same mistakes over and over as far as penalties go. I think we had close to 15, somewhere between 15 and 20 penalties tonight. It was just, I don't know for sure. It may have been 13, but they ain't no doubt it was double digits. And we put ourselves behind the eight ball too many times with penalties, and I thought the first half, when we were kind of had the momentum on our side, we made too many mistakes and kind of felt like we missed some opportunities in the first half that we should have taken advantage of and just did.
Y'all had some big goal line stands or defensive stands on fourth downs in the second quarter, I noticed.
Yeah, we did have some pretty big stands. I thought our defense played fantastic all night. They were a power running game, and I thought we handled power play extremely well. They actually hurt us on a jet sweep and kind of got loose on about 60, 65, 70-yard run. I don't know how long it was. And we actually lined up without a corner on that side of the field. And I know people listening saying, well, Coach, why didn't you get them lined up right? And it wasn't because we didn't want to line up right. They just, sometimes we get confused when the other team moves around a little bit, and we kind of got confused and did not line a corner up on that side. And sure enough, they took about 70 yards on us. And then it kind of got real close then, and kind of give them a little bit of momentum and stuff like that. So it was an extremely big play, and we lined up wrong. And but it'd be something you look at on the film and show your kids, they knew how they were supposed to line up. They were just late getting there, I guess, was the best way to explain that.
Yeah, well, we only had footage from the first half, and we saw a couple of high snaps, one by them early in the game with over the punter's head, and then one by your center over your quarterback's head. And, that sort of thing is things that, can really make a coach bite his lip or something.
Yeah, it will, and that's what I'm saying. We made some mistakes like that, and our kids are trying. I understand they're trying, and they want to do well. But I've got probably the youngest team I've ever had. We've got so many 10th graders playing. I'm not sure how many we got starting this year, and we got 6 seniors on our team, and the rest of them are 10th and 11th graders, and we got a ton of 10th graders that start. We probably started about 18, 19 different kids, too. It's kind of uncommon for a small school. But we got so many young kids that are ready to play, we're able to play a ton of kids.
5-1 ain't too bad for all those young kids.
Well, yeah, I can't express how proud I am of our kids and how happy I was with this one tonight. It was just I knew what kind of team Weimar had coming in here, and they'd just run up and down the field on everybody. On everybody, they'd run up and down the field, and we done a fantastic job defending them tonight. We was real excited about that.
And you got another big one next week.
Yes.
Yes.
And, as we look at things, I don't know really how good Tarrant is because we haven't seen, they don't play a lot of teams from our area around here, but they happen to be in your area, but our region. But you and Addison next week may be playing for that second spot because, both of you have already lost to Tanner. But that home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs would be big.
Yeah, it would be, and you know about as much about Tarrant as I know. Did they win tonight? I hadn't heard if they won tonight or not. But
no, they didn't. Maplesville beat them.
Yeah, Maplesville 36-21. No, that was Tanner. I'm sorry. Ramsey beat Tarrant 44-6.
Okay, all right. Well, Ramsey's a top 5A, top 10 team.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you kind of see that one maybe coming on. I don't know anything about Tarrant, and we got Addison next week, but I know plenty about Addison, that's for sure. They're, they're a football community. I was there for a couple of years, and probably the best 2 years of my life. I built a lot of friendships over there, and Addison people are great people. Every time I see somebody from Addison in Walmart, they are so kind to me, and I feel the same way about the people over there. It's going to be a challenge for our kids like they probably haven't seen before, and I understand what we're about to get into, and I think our kids do too, and maybe we'll find a way to do good enough things to compete in that game for sure.
Well, congratulations, big win tonight, and we're going to get on with some more scores here, but good luck next week and the rest of the season.
Congrats, Coach. Good luck.
Yeah, thank y'all so much. Once again, we're extremely proud of our kids. Love to talk about our kids, and I'm just tickled to death with this one tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us.
All right.
Some other scores from around the area. Addison was open tonight, so they didn't play.
Right.
Cold Springs gets another big win, goes 5-1. Falkville gets a big win over West Morgan, and that's kind of a local matchup there.
Yep.
And West Morgan's typically fielded a lot of good teams. Summerton Christian picks up a win. It's their second win of the season over Lynn. Lynn is 14, Summerton Christian, Lynn 7. Tanner gets beat, their second loss, and they get beat by Maplesville, 30, which Maplesville is a 1A powerhouse, but Tanner's a 2A powerhouse, so that's kind of a shocker, but 36-21. And then Tarrant falls to Ramsey, 47-6, and they have a tough schedule. I've looked at Tarrant's schedule. They have a tough schedule week in, week out. That's Region 2A 6. Region 3, or 3A Region 5, Hanceville loses to West Point tonight, and Holly Pond falls to Fairview. Oakman falls to Cordova 14-6. Aniana ends up beating Susan Moore. They drop to 2-4. Vinemont falls to Cold Springs, which we just talked about. Hamilton beats Winfield 38-31. And then Winston County beats Carbon Hill 41-8.
Okay, those are all, I guess like Hamilton and Winfield, sort of a big rivalry there.
And they're both good teams, quality football teams.
Good program.
Good programs. Some other local scores. Good Hope beats Curry 19-14. Pennington falls to Cleveland 41-15. Arab loses Gunnersville tonight. Brewer gets beat by Decatur. Fairview wins 53-27 over Holly Pond. Gunnersville 28, Arab 24. West Point, huge win over Hanceville, 47-6. Hartselle wins over Grissom, 38-6.
That was last night.
Last night, right? Mm-hmm. And then Cullman, 21-18 over Fayette County. Big win for Cullman. They're kind of rolling too.
Yes, it was. And Fayette County has a good football team. Year in and year out, they have good football teams.
The other region scores from around the area. Southside Gadsden picks up a big win over St. Clair. Scottsboro loses North Jackson. Lee Huntsville picks up a win over Columbia. Albertville beats Boaz 34-21. Fort Payne loses to Hazel Green, which is a big shocker, 46-0. In Region 6A.
And run that by me one more time. Hazel Green 46.
Hazel Green, who had won one previous game in 7A, beats undefeated Fort Payne 46-0.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
So that was kind of a shocker.
Yeah.
Ardmore beats Clements 62-32. Columbia.
Ardmore's first win, wasn't it?
It was, and they're 1-4. Columbia loses to Lee 33-7. Athens loses to East Limestone, which that region, like I say, that region's a funny region, and
that'd be a big game too. There, East Limestone's right there next to Athens.
It is, and those they're in two different regions, but those regions are shaping up funny.
Yep.
You know, Athens wins one, loses one, and you know there's so many quality teams in that region that it's really it's going to be a tough region. And whenever it gets to the end of the season, whoever makes the playoffs might be decided by week 5 or week 10 or week 1. You know,
yeah.
And then a few more scores. Boaz loses to Albertville. Butler beats Jacksonville 50-16.
Butler's first win.
Butler's first win.
Big one.
1-4. Douglas beats Brindley Mountain 27-15. Fairview beats Holly Pond 53-27. Gunnersville 28. Arab 24. Walker 52. Madison County 6. And Randolph 28. Westminster 14.
Okay. All right. Band of the Week. This is one of the things I'm sure many of you watch the program for, but Band of the Week this week is the Hansville Bulldog Marching Band. So we're going to have a little bit of footage of Hansville's band coming up.
Drum Major Ann Kohler, is your band ready? Let's make some noise for the pride of Hansville. Boom.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
A restaurant with a view. A game day bus. A kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs. Call 256-734-3348. From the Heart, monogramming and gifts. Find the right gift for any occasion. Designer jewelry, bags, clothes, and much more. Stop by today and ask about our monogramming and custom printing services. The best gifts come from the heart.
It's true. The only time we think about electricity is when the power goes out. Then every minute seems like an eternity. Luckily, as a member of a Touchstone Energy cooperative, the people working on our behalf have the training, high-tech resources, and motivation to restore power as quickly and as safely as humanly possible. See what I mean? When it comes to electricity, you know you have an outstanding team working for you when you hardly notice them at all.
Cullman Electric Cooperative.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind. That's how many registered nurses the national job market will need in this decade. Will you be one of them? Across the country, that's the median annual pay for RNs. Be one of us and get in a Wallace state of mind.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard. We've got a little bit of footage now for another couple of teams here. We got who's our sponsors for this thing again?
Lee Powell at Country Financial. If you need any insurance or life insurance or anything like that, drop by and see him. And Wallace State Community College.
Okay, great to have them helping us out with this. But right now we've got a little bit of footage of Hanceville and West Point here. They played tonight. We've got Coach Farley on the phone. Coach, is a big win for you.
Another big win.
Yeah, our guys come out and play hard, and we'll take it 5-0.
5-0. Congratulations, undefeated, Coach. That's great so far.
All right, we're fixing to be looking at a little bit of footage right here of the first quarter, and when y'all went down there, I know you had to overcome the thinking of your kids. You know, we're 4-0, they're 0-4. What's a big deal? But
yeah, that's we talked about that, and we knew that it's a county rivalry, and the county teams and playing games against each other, you pretty much do away with the record.
Yeah, and obviously you played great defense tonight.
Yeah, both sides did. Defense really, played outstanding in the first half. I think we may have held them to like 7 total yards and 1 first down in the first half, and that was a challenge that we wanted our defense to go out and answer.
All right, when you do something like that, your defensive front has to play well. Mm-hmm. So who you got up there in the defensive front?
Well, tonight we started Kyle Butler and Austin Young started at tackles, and then Ryder Jones and Trent Campbell started for us on our defensive end.
All right. Anytime you hold somebody just very few yardage, like I said, the front four is going to have to just play fantastic, lights out.
Yeah, that's, once again, we challenge our guys, we did it, on both sides, offensive line and defensive line. If you're going to be successful, it's going to start up front on both sides.
Well, here's a little guy, number 2, running the football. You got any idea who that might be?
Yeah, Yeah, he had a couple of good runs, a couple of good punt returns, and helped us get some good field position tonight.
Yet made a great fake on that carry right then, and good read, and took it, and didn't go to the house with it, but he had a big first down run on it, and here he is running again for a touchdown. Is this your first touchdown? Is that when he took it up the middle?
Yeah, I think it is. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and who's your kicker now?
Tristan Skinner. He's a sophomore. He's got a big time leg, and we keep working him, and he's getting better each week.
Yeah, and I don't know what y'all do, what's in the water out there, but y'all always have good kickers.
Yeah, we've been fortunate. Actually, our kicker we had a few years back, Martin Laney, is one of our special team coaches, and he really works. He spends a lot of time with helping Tristan. So it's good to have them young guys come in and come back like that, and be able to pass on their knowledge and experience to the younger guys.
All right, and number 3, running the football here.
Yeah, Kobe's an outstanding running back, and the offensive line, if they can give him a seam or give him a crease, he's a hard runner, and he's gonna make things happen if they just give him a little bit of space. And
he's got the speed to go the distance too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got real good speed, real good vision, and he's one of those running backs that the linemen they love to block for him because they know he's gonna get tough yards.
Well, it's a big win for you. Congratulations. Back to the region play next week.
J.O. Johnson next week, and they got beat tonight by a Buckhorn team, 49-18, and they are. It looks like you guys are lining up. West Region's really lining up well for you.
Yeah, it's the back half of the season. That's kind of usually how it's going to shake up. That's going to kind of decide playoff positions, and we're going to get ready for Jo and put in the time and the work this week to get ready for them. And it's one game at a time, and we're glad to be back home finally. We've got 4 out of the next 5 at home, so that's a good feeling. And
yes.
And we'll just take them one at a time and see what happens.
Well, we hope to have you back on here several times because going back home now, we're going to have some footage, and hopefully you're going to be winning these ball games. We'll be giving you some calls and trying to get a little more information from you. But thanks for being with us tonight, Coach.
All right, thank you.
And good luck next week and the rest of the year. Okay, that was Coach Farley. Now we got a little bit of footage coming up here of the Holly Punt and Fairview game, and that was, I think it might have surprised a few people as being as close as it was in the first half. It was a well-played ball game and extremely close through the first half anyway. And we're going to try to get Coach Redding on the phone here now. So as he tries to get Coach Redding on the phone, we're looking at their cheerleaders right now. There's some there, little bitty ones, aren't you? So they had a good group of cheerleaders there, and evidently the cameraman thought it would be nice to get.
Can't get George tonight. His phone must be off or in an area with no service. But we went down and watched that game, and Holly Pond's got some good-looking kids. A big team, big line, some good receivers, some good skill positions.
They're a little young. They're young right now still, and Coach Bates still got his work cut out. There you see 34 getting behind the secondary a little bit here, throwing it on just a little screen or swing pass out to the running back, and they've got. The quarterback here, Maples, he's huge.
He's a bulldozer. And what impressed me about Fairview tonight, the part we watched of the game, was they were balanced. They ran it, they threw it, they were all over the field with screens, with slants, with everything you need to do in a ball game to keep the defense on their toes. They could do it.
And they did a good job defensively. Put a lot of pressure on the quarterback.
Special teams are good.
Yeah. And I really thought that was a great throw right there, right between 2 guys. Put it right where it had to be thrown in order to make the completion. And here they getting a touchdown here. And I think we're in the second half now. But anyway, Fairview went on to open things up a little bit more in the second half. And what was the final score on that?
The final score on that one, Fairview 53, Holly Pond 27.
Okay.
And next week, Fairview's going to be traveling to Madison County, and it's going to be a pretty good ball game. Madison County lost tonight to Walker, 52-6, but they're 2-3 overall for the season. They're 2-1 in their region, so they're as far as that region goes, they're actually tied for second place right now. So that's it'll be a game to Fairview. It's almost a must-win for as far as the region goes.
Yep, and there was a 1 foot in the end zone, great throw, great catch by the receiver out there, and that sort of put. I guess that sort of put the siege in the sweep.
And Holly Pond looked great. They had a few small mistakes we saw, some bad snaps and some different things happening down there. Had a punt block and an easy score and that stuff, momentum's a big thing in football, and it just escalates really quickly sometimes, and those things that get you beat. It's kind of like West Point not making those mistakes, or Cold Springs, not making those mistakes, and Beaumont making those mistakes, turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, and bad special teams play. A lot of times, all it takes for a good team to lose.
Well, we had intended to have Coach Redding on the phone with us, but we weren't able to get the phone to work properly there. So, sorry, we apologize for that. But now we have another part of our program that I think people like
probably
quite
the most important part.
We have some church sponsors that help us sponsor the FCA Athlete of the Week. Cullman First Baptist, Hansville First Baptist, Bethlehem Missionary Baptist, and St. John's Evangelical Church. We thank them quite a bit for allowing us to present an FCA Athlete of the Week.
I taught and coached Adam Millwood, and he's an outstanding candidate for this because he's great. He's a yes sir, no sir guy, and he'll do anything you ask him to do. And he's the guy you're never going to find putting another kid down. He's always going to do the right thing.
Well, we have an interview here. Coach Coleman's going to be doing an interview with Adam Millwood from Vinemont High School.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes segment. It's our Athlete of the Week. And before I do this, I want to thank Coach Smothers for allowing me to be a part of this fantastic part of the program. And for Channel 27 to even have this on their show is fantastic. And we're real privileged to have Adam Millwood with us. Adam, we're glad to have you. He's with the Vinemont Eagles, offensive lineman, is that right?
That's right.
And what an honor it is to have you here. And what an honor it is to know that we got young people that are representatives of Christ out there in our schools. And that's why we have this segment. So talk a little bit about your personal relationship with Christ, how it impacts you as a student and as an athlete.
Well, you hold yourself at a higher standard than most people probably do. I was raised in church when I was young. I've been taught by my parents the Bible, and it's definitely helped me get through school and just to get through the day every day and go through the day-to-day life at school. And,
absolutely. Yeah. I'm a former coach, so I got to ask you this, man. How much do you weigh?
200 pounds.
200. You're going against some monsters. Some of the best offensive line I've ever coached, though, were 200-pound guys. How does your Christian witness impact your performance on that offensive line, blocking some of those monster defensive tackles and linebackers that you got to block? How does Christ enter into that?
Well, you've got to persevere when you're doing that. You know they're bigger than you. You know they're right across from you, and and a lot of them, especially for me, they're always a lot bigger than me. So you've got to have that hope. You've got to have perseverance, and that's one of the things that's taught as you read on through the Bible. That's one of the things that's really taught us to have perseverance to keep going.
Yeah, David whipped Goliath, didn't he?
Yeah.
So we know that it can happen. Let's go into the halls of the school for a minute. We all know it's pretty easy to be a Christian at church on Sunday, and you said you were kind of raised in the church. How does your Christian witness impact the school and the parties that's part of a teenager's life, and how do you represent Christ in all those other situations?
Well, you avoid the parties, and you.
As a Christian out there?
As a Christian at a lot of different schools, not just here but all over, you have to kind of avoid what a lot of people say, and just you've got to keep going and just go on throughout your daily routine, because it's just a lot of people at different schools like to joke around and just, not live to the high standard that you would like to.
And yet you're still trying to be that witness to them at school and stuff. And I think your actions do speak loudly to them when you don't participate in some of those things. Well, what you going to do when you get out of school?
Well, believe it or not, I thought about going into something with communications. I'm not sure.
I believe it. You're doing really good.
Thank you.
I believe that. So you think you're going to go into what? Some kind of broadcasting?
Yeah, some kind of broadcasting is what I had in mind.
Well, don't do like me. Don't have the southern drawl.
Yeah.
And you don't. You're going to do great. And the big thing is you're going to represent Christ wherever you go, whatever you do, and that's a blessing. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Fantastic job. We'll be back with more Beyond the Scoreboard after these messages.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
A restaurant with a view. A game day bus. A kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs. Call 256-734-3348.
Delicious stud, hun.
Eat up. There's plenty more.
Billy, eat your stud. Think of the termites whose homes were protected with Termidor.
Aw, Dad. The Browns will never get Termidor. They're clueless.
Yeah, they even think homeowners insurance covers our damage.
Do you hear laughing?
It's probably just the pipes.
Target Pest Control. We aim to please.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind. That's the projected number of job openings for trained welders this decade. That's the potential salary for welders trained the Wallace State way with the latest robotic technology for manufacturing. Who will you be? Be one of us and get in a Wallace state of mind.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard. Now we're going to talk a little bit about our region standings, but before we do, I want to mention our main sponsors one more time. Lee Powell with Country Financial, where those guys can take care of all your financial and insurance needs. And then Wallace State Community College, one of our local sponsors that supports higher education for the youth of Cullman County.
And they sort of help with financial needs too, get that education.
That's right. So and you ain't going to go to school with such a quality education cheaper than Wallace State College.
All right, let's look at some region play. 2A Region 6. We got a couple of really important ball games next week there.
You could say that in the way that region's shaping up, Tanner, Tarrant, Addison, and Cold Springs are definitely in the driver's seat. Those teams are all making a good push for the playoffs. The question is, who's going to be a home team, who's going to be away? And we both know that home field advantage is really big that first round. Tanner and Tarrant play, so both those teams are undefeated in region play. One of those teams is going to come away with the loss.
All right, and talking about Cold Springs and Addison, Tanner has already beaten both of them.
Yes.
But Tarrant has not played either one of them
That's
yet.
right.
So,
Tarrant's schedule is tough. So Tanner's going to have their hands full.
If Tanner were to win that, though, then those other three would be playing for that second.
That's right. And Addison or Cold Springs has to beat Tarrant.
Yeah. All right, let's go on down to Region 3A, Region 5 in Class 3A. We got some front runners there. I think Winfield probably would be the front runner.
Winfield's the heads up front runner. I think
they're the only undefeated region played team.
That's
there.
right. But you got a lot of teams right there: Winston County, Vinemont, Susan-Moore, Oakman, that are good football teams that have a great chance of making the playoffs. And
well, now Oakman, I just said Oakman has not lost a region game.
Right, they're undefeated.
They just lost
in the region.
their first game tonight, though.
So next week, the games to watch are going to be Oakman at Vinemont, a great game there.
That'll be a good one, yes.
And then Winfield plays at Hansville. So those two games are going to be really important.
And that Oakman-Vinemont game is extremely important for Vinemont.
It is.
They've lost 2 now in the region.
If they win that game, it gives them a really good shot at going to the playoffs.
All right, let's go to 4A Region 7.
Region 7.
And in that one, we've got probably Aniana sort of out front in that one.
And they lost tonight, but it was non-region. And then you got Locust Fork, who's a lot better than they used to be. And you know, what's Locust Fork's record right now? Region record?
Well, they were 4-1, 2-1 in the region, and they were open tonight. So their overall record's 4-1.
So Aniana's got a good chance. Locust Fork's got a good chance, and then Westminster Christian. Some of those teams are picking up wins in the region, and
North Jackson's only lost 1 in region play. So.
Right.
And they seem to be improving, getting better. They usually have some good athletes.
And Good Hope's won 2. So for Good Hope to have a chance, they need to continue the winning ways.
Yep. Well, let's look at Region 7, Class 5A.
Region 7, 5A.
Yep.
That's Fairview, and Fairview's picked up some big wins, but none in the region yet.
No, they're 0-3 in the region, so they're going to they can't afford to lose another region.
Can't afford to lose another region. And
who do they have next week?
They're playing at Madison County, and I think Madison County is one of the leaders in the region.
Well, Madison County is 2-3, and they're 2-1 in the region.
2-1 in the region, right?
All right, Region 8.
Region 8. Undefeated West Point.
And undefeated Russellville.
And undefeated Russellville.
And it looks like they may be headed to they
showdown.
don't play next week.
That's right.
Who does Russellville have next week?
Russellville's got East Limestone, who's also a really good football team this year. Undefeated football team, East Limestone.
Also in the region, yes.
So you got somebody can come away with a loss there, and West Point is going to have J.O. Johnson, who I think's it's not going to be an easy game, but I think West Point can definitely win that game.
I think so too. And looking back at East Limestone, they beat a good Athens team tonight.
They did, right?
So that'll be a tough one. All right, let's go to 6A Region 8.
And this is every team in this region is pretty much what we would call a local team: Athens, Austin, Cullman, Decatur, Florence, Hartselle, and right off the bat in Muscle Shoals. And everybody thinks, well, Muscle Shoals is a powerhouse, Florence is a powerhouse, but that ain't been the case.
Hadn't been. They're good.
They're good. They're all good. Everybody in the region is good.
But they're just not, head and shoulders above everybody else. And right now there are 2 undefeated teams in that region, Decatur and Florence.
That's right.
And, we talk from Cullman's standpoint, they lost to Florence, but they've still got Decatur to play a little bit later.
But they're all beating up on each other, and Cullman is a well-coached team with a lot of depth. So as the season progresses, I like their chances.
Well, Cullman and Hartselle both have lost 1.
1, right.
And Hartselle picked up a big game, against 7A Grissom last night. So they seem to be coming on strong also. They're 4-1. And Cullman had a big win against a very good Fayette County team tonight.
That's right. And Decatur's open next week. They're the team that's not playing in the region next week, but that's one of those regions where they started early and have an open week. But Athens is at Cullman, big game there if you want to come watch that one at Cullman. Austin's in Florence, and Hartselle plays at Muscle Shoals. Those are the big games.
All right, so got some big games coming up in the next week and in the following weeks. It's going to be going a long way toward determining who plays at home in the playoffs.
That's right.
Or who gets at least into the playoffs, because some of them is going to be eliminated. But now we have another part of our program that we like to try to bring a little bit of attention to some people who just do a great job for our high schools. And tonight we're going to be talking about ticket takers. So we have a little bit of footage here of some ticket takers that we got tonight out at Cold Springs. So if we could, let's get the ticket. All right, we're here with Michael Parker, one of the ticket takers and money counters here at Cold Springs High School, home of the Eagles. And Michael, what What do you get for doing this?
Just the satisfaction of helping the team, helping the school. We try to do that.
How often do you do this?
We have like where we volunteer for 2 or 3 gates every year.
Okay.
Like that. So
all the teachers
all
pretty
the
much?
teachers pretty well do that, yeah.
Okay, well that's good. And I know from a coaching standpoint, we have no idea what's going on out here, but we appreciate y'all's volunteer and doing this because, we need the equipment and stuff to take care of the players. But how long you been doing this?
Oh, well, I've been here about 28 years.
28 years?
29 years. So, of course, I used to coach and also,
Yes.
so I've seen it from both sides. So
Yes.
yeah.
And so you're aware of how badly they're needed. Okay?
Exactly.
Well, we thank you, and we'd like to put you on our Unsung Hero program. But good luck, and hope things go well with you this year, and appreciate what you do.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
So we want to thank our ticket takers. They volunteers, mostly teachers, that'll come out, and you have to have some financial responsibility there too, because they have a lot of money that comes through their hands and stuff.
Every bit of that stuff state audited, but that really helps out the local schools. Every dollar these sports events make go to support not only sporting events but other things in the local school, and it's detrimental to the schools that these people do a good job taking up the money, accounting for the money, and
And they're absolutely necessary. We appreciate them and the work they do, as well as the other unsung heroes we talked about, and those that we may miss. But there's a lot of people that go into that it takes in order to have a good program, athletic program, and something the kids can be proud of. All right. Well, we're going to be back in just a few minutes. Right now, we have a few words from our sponsors, and then we'll talk a little bit about some SEC games.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
A restaurant with a view. A game day bus. A kingdom for pretty princesses. Your local Country Financial representative knows that your car is much more than just a car to you. And since they know you so well, you can be sure they'll guide you to just the right coverage and available discounts to keep your car and everything else that depends on it well protected. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs. Call 256-734-3348. From the Heart Monogramming and Gifts has just the gift you need for that special someone. Find a tote bag or build a bow. Peruse our selection of baby items. Or choose a nice piece of jewelry by Chameleon. And while you're here, let us take care of all your monogramming needs. From the Heart Monogramming and Gifts. The best gifts are from the heart.
When energy prices start to rise, a single electric co-op can only do so much. That's why your Touchstone Energy Cooperative taps the combined ideas and resources of co-ops locally and nationally to deliver electricity at the best price possible. And in that unity, every member gains strength. Together we can take control of the future, instead of the future taking control of us.
Cullman Electric Cooperative.
Wallace State offers associate degree and certificate programs in Alabama's hottest job fields. Every year this decade, almost 3,800 new workers will enter these fields. Will you be one of them? Be one of us. Get in a Wallace state of mind. Almost $39,000. That's the mean annual wage for Alabamians trained as machinists and in computer-controlled machine operation. Wallace State has machining programs to fit your career ambitions. Be one of us and get in a Wallace state of mind.
Beyond the Scoreboard, brought to you by Country Financial, the Lee Powell Agency, for all your insurance needs, and Wallace State Community College. Get in a Wallace state of mind.
All right, welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard. Now we're going to talk a little bit about some SEC.
We're blessed. We're blessed in Alabama with great high school football teams and high school programs and coaches and kids and athletes, and we're blessed in the Southeast with the best program in the nation, the SEC.
Yeah.
The best conference in the nation.
And there's some good ball game's going to be played tomorrow. They're beginning to get into the part of the season now where it actually counts.
Right. Last week against Florida, Alabama versus Florida, seemed like to me the first week of football. It was the first one that really felt real, felt hard, felt like a real game. Well, until Alabama got rolling.
Yeah, and then, I think I put Mississippi State, took them a little lightly last week when I was talking about them.
They're big, and LSU's not as good as everybody thought, I guess.
Well, they sure proved me wrong. I thought LSU would beat them, but
and they should. When you've got top 4 recruiting classes for 5 years, you should be one of the top programs in the nation. There's no reason to get beat, you would think.
Well, it turned out being a fantastic ball game, but the better team for the whole ball game anyway.
Right.
For 60 minutes.
The cream rises to the crop. And you said that's not about a high school football game. You got to play the full game. You can't play 3 quarters. You got to play 4.
Well, one thing, Alabama, after playing Florida last week, I thought they looked really good. I thought quarterback Sims just did a fantastic job at quarterback.
Was he throwing a baseball or a football? Because he was just zip, zip, zip.
Yep, he was doing a good job, but running the team.
Right.
But the offensive line did a good job protecting him and making some holes for the running backs. And so anyway, they played very well, and I sort of wish they was playing again this week, because sometimes you take that open week, you take a week off, and you lose a little bit of your momentum.
You lose that edge. Now Alabama's got a few of them guys that can catch the ball pretty good too.
Yep. And I didn't recall any injuries or anything that they needed a week off. So.
Right.
But they've got a week off before they get into the heart of their SEC schedule. But Auburn doesn't have a week off, I don't think. They're playing Louisiana Tech. So, what do you think about that?
Okay. I don't think they're in danger of getting beat, dropping into the L column this week. But Louisiana Tech may have some athletes. A receiver quarter might run a fast offense and might put a few points on the board. But I think Auburn will be fine in that game.
Well, I thought they were going to handle Kansas State a little better than they did, but they did what they needed to do to win. And so anyway, Auburn, Louisiana Tech, we're going to pick Auburn.
Auburn.
All right, we got I think a good one here of 2 completely different styles.
Yes.
Arkansas at Texas A&M.
And I think Arkansas's running game is going to wear Texas A&M down in the fourth quarter. I think that'll be a good game because of that. I think Texas A&M is going to score a lot of points, but I think Arkansas's running game is going to put some points on the board in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it may do it, but the reason they run these fast-paced offenses is to try to wear their defense down.
Right.
So you look at the same thing is the Texas A&M fast style offense going to tire out the Arkansas defense.
It'll be interesting to see. I think they'll put a lot of points on the board. That's what Texas A&M does. But I think Arkansas. What would you rather have, a good passing game or a good running game?
I'd rather have a good running game.
Me too. And I think Arkansas, because of that, is going to put some points on the board too. So I'm gonna be the spoiler alert right here and go Arkansas.
I think I'm going to go with Texas A&M.
And that's a safe bet. I think the odds makers will probably go with you on that one.
Well, I don't know. Arkansas has really shown a lot of improvement. All right, LSU has got to go. Well, no, they're bringing them into New Mexico State.
I think LSU will pick up a win this week.
I think they need this game.
Yeah.
After last week, they need something. And I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think, because I think they're going to come into this game thinking, okay, we're resting this week.
Right.
And I think New Mexico
Never overlook
State.
Somebody.
Yep. I think they're going to challenge them a little bit, but I don't think it'll last long. Mississippi plays Memphis. Memphis has struggled.
Yeah, and I think Mississippi's gonna look really good. So we'll see what happens there. But I think they're looking pretty good.
Mississippi's in top 10 now, aren't they?
They're looking pretty good. Yeah. So whenever they get to playing some of our SEC rivals, that's going to be some interesting games.
Okay. All right. So I think we're going Mississippi on that. Mississippi State's open this week after a big win last week, and then we got Texas A&M as Arkansas, of course, but Florida is open as well. Florida needed a week off, didn't they?
Yeah, they do. That's right.
They sort of took it on the chin last week. They were extremely fortunate just to be in the ball game. The turnovers that Alabama had, which were unusual.
Right. Yeah, a lot of mistakes, sloppy play first half, but Once Alabama got to really opening things up with the pass, they were able to run the ball, and I think Florida needs that week off.
All right, we got another one here. Georgia sort of up and down a little bit versus Tennessee.
Early in the season.
It's in Athens.
It is. I was picking Tennessee early in the season, but I'm going to go with Georgia on this one.
I'm going to have to go with Georgia as well, but Tennessee has played much better football this year than they have in the past, the past couple of years anyway. And so that could be a very interesting ball game. Georgia has, of course, everybody's talking about the running back being the best, and he's good. But if he stays healthy, I'd say Georgia will win by a couple of touchdowns. But if he were to get hurt or something, it could be a tough ball game. And they have I think a freshman coming in that is very similar as far as just big strong kid with good speed. All right, Kentucky and Vandy.
And Vandy picked up their first win last week, didn't they?
This is
against
East,
UMass. Did they get their first win?
A battle for the bottom of the East.
I'm going to go with Kentucky beating Vandy.
I think Kentucky looked really good against Florida, but
I think they'll beat Vandy.
When we saw Alabama dominate Florida, we're not so sure about how good that was.
Right.
But I think you're right. I think Kentucky will be able to win this one. Vandy struggled with some weak competition. And so I really think that Kentucky probably will be able to take this one. All right, then we have another one, Missouri versus South Carolina.
Did Missouri get beat last week?
They lost to Indiana.
I don't.
Indiana wants me, Lord. I can't go back there. That's what Missouri's saying all the way home.
I don't know about that game. South Carolina, Missouri. I'll go with Missouri, but I'm not sure if they'll pull out the win on that one. They dropped the ball last week.
Okay. I think South Carolina might be just a little bit better, but I'm not certain. And Missouri, they have an offense that's capable of scoring some points. And South Carolina proved against Texas A&M that they have a defense that's capable of giving up some
a lot of points.
Yeah. So, that could be a real tough ball game, but I think you're probably right. I think South Carolina probably will be able to pull that one out, but I'm not too sure about it. Anyway, it should be an interesting ball game. Interesting games. Any others that you can think of going on tomorrow?
Not tomorrow. A lot of good high school games next Friday. A lot of good ball games tomorrow, and then
All right, let's go over our county teams. Who are they playing next week?
County teams next week. Cold Springs is playing Addison at Cold Springs.
Are they playing at Addison?
At Addison.
Okay,
that's right.
That's what I was thinking.
At Addison. Falkville's it'll be Seminary Christian at Falkville. Winfield's at Hanceville. Holly Pond's at Winston County. Vinemont is playing Oakman at Vinemont. Winfield's at Hanceville. Winston County's at Holly Pond. Good Hope is going to Locust Fork.
That could be a tough one, couldn't it?
That could be a tough one. Fairview is at Madison County. West Point has J.O. Johnson at home. Cullman has Athens at home. And that's our local teams.
Okay. And Cullman and Athens should be a real good ball game. So if y'all would, head out next Friday night to your favorite high school football team, support them, and let's bring them through. And, whether they win or not, they're playing hard, so let's cheer them on. That's and right. Congratulate them for games well played. Thank you for being with us.